We're live.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. The police are able to use the press to make the white public think that 90% or 99% of the Negroes in the Negro community are criminals. And once the white public is convinced that most of the Negro community is a criminal element, then this automatically paves the way for the police to move into the Negro community, exercising Gestapo tactics, stopping any black man who is on the sidewalk, whether he is guilty or whether he is innocent, whether he is well-dressed or whether he is poorly dressed, whether he is educated or whether he is dumb, whether he's a Christian or whether he's a Muslim. As long as he is black and a member of the Negro community, the white public thinks that the white policeman is justified in going in there and trampling on that man's civil rights and on that man's human rights.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's a blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Oh, that's too much for me. Black people walk like that because we have style, we got flavor, we got rhythm. I mean, the black man in America is the most copied man on this planet, bar none. Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question? The Colonel's a nigga now. The Colonel's a nigga now. He didn't know so much chicken, he's a nigga now. Cal Channon just admitted she was a nigga. The rest of them need to break down and admit it too. I've been talking this, I've been on that front row, believe me, and they've been sitting there. I did this when it wasn't popular. I'm not getting into people's case, but I'm nobody's fool. I have that soapbox. I have a voice, and they listen. They get a lot of stuff from me. I've been out there. I was in Hollywood when Richard and I kicked that door in. We didn't open it, we kicked it in. That's why this generation thinks that it's their birthright. We had to give up a lot for them to have what they have. I had to wait 40 minutes for my grits. This generation gets their grits in 5 minutes. They want stuff instantly now. They can't even wait to die. That's why they kill each other. No, you're going to die. Just wait for death. It's coming. Just wait. Be patient. They always tell me that. I said, don't tell me white people about making fun of white folks and making fun of nobody. Let me just, it's America, freedom of speech. Let me do what I want to do. Y'all have made fun of everybody that ain't felt shit. It's the truth. Yeah, y'all know you're clapping, house niggas ain't clapping scared, but listen. This is real, and I mean this from my heart. I've been taught by white folks. I ain't been on Venus. I'm come from here. I'm reacting to this shit. I've always been making fun of niggas, and they don't. And the reason they say, Paul, why don't you sugarcoat? I ain't sugarcoating shit, because white folks didn't sugarcoat shit to me. White folks didn't give a goddamn. When they didn't want me at their schools, they could have sugarcoated. Well, Paul, perhaps next year we're overcrowded now. We can work some. They didn't say, no, nigga, you can't go to the school because you are a nappy-head, wide-nosed nigga. We don't want niggers here. They didn't sugarcoat shit. I got over it, so white folks, you get over me. I lived through the shit, you'll live through it. I've never told anyone what kind of jobs to have. I've never kept anyone from going to a school, out of a restaurant, or drinking from a fountain. I've never lynched anybody. So how can I be racist? How can I be racist? By definition, I can't be racist.
Well, I think what's happening is...
How can the slave be the master? Doesn't even make sense. I mean, that's someone that's telling you this or making that statement, whether they're black or white, they have to be totally insane. I can't be, by definition. Look up the definition of racism.
Well, I think what's happening in the world is a lot of younger people feel like they have no attachment to the past of America. And they want to make that clear in their own different ways.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm just saying that to you. But if I am racist, if I go along with that, then I learn from the best. I was taught by the best, if that's true.
So Black Americans make up 13% of the U.S. population. However, they make up 53.1% of the murders.
Nah, that's incorrect. Very common mistake. I got you. Let me show you. So your source isn't a compilation of crimes committed or even convictions. That's a collection of arrests. People often forget to read the fine, giant yellow print. So, I mean, it's not just you, it's everybody. The phrase black people make up 13% of the population applies to every black person. Me, you, Oprah, Candace Owens, all of us. But the phrase black people commit half the crime does not apply to all of us because you never committed a crime. Oprah hasn't, I haven't, Candace Owens hasn't. So it's weird to combine something that applies to all black people and only 0.05% of us, because only 0.05% of us have been arrested for violent crimes. So it's like saying black people make up 13% of the population but make up like 80% of NBA basketball shots. Like that only applies to professional basketball players, not all black people. It's so weird. I gotta go. Bye.
Hey, you understand me? I'm not even doing nothing. I'm not even fighting back. I'm not even fighting back. I'm not even fighting back. I'm not even doing nothing, man. What's going on, man? Oh my God. You got shorts. I didn't even do nothing.
It's unbelievable, man.
I didn't even do nothing at all, man.
It's unbelievable.
I didn't even do nothing to you, man.
Lay on your
You
stomach.
stabbed me on my fucking head.
Lay down.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Settle down, just relax.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I'm a minute out.
You okay?
It's all right. Stand up. Stand up.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean. Killed him a day before his wedding. Jamar killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Phillip, Alton. About 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stephon, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Isel, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter. Women like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, Baby Ayana. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace. No peace, no peace,
All right, hi, how's everybody doing? Normally I would play our intro, but that music is kind of upbeat and kind of fun type of music, and I'm not in that mood today after watching that. Today we're talking about why is death row so dark? There's a disproportionate amount of black men on death row in America.
can't speak for other countries, but I know in America, I think it's in our research, we found there's 60 to 65% of the death row inmates are men of color, are black men, which is astounding because we are not, we're only 13% of the population. Now, the argument we always get is that Black people are 13% of the US population, but we commit 50 to 55% of all violent crimes. That's something that the FBI has put out, and it's been out there for years, and that's something that people say most Black people are violent. They use that statistic. In my research, that statistic can be challenged. And we're going to challenge it today because I mean, how can we even trust the FBI? This is a organization that said the number one, I want to get this right, the number one enemy of the US was, I think it was back then, Martin Luther King Jr. and the whole Black movement, that somehow we were the number one threat to America. So can we really take statistics from the FBI? And we also found in our research that white communities, the crime is not reported. Crime is not reported the way it is in Black communities. We also gonna get into, I'm sure Tanya, Kevin, and Preach, that statistics are not reported and are underreported for white communities. So I really want to, for me today, the angle I'm taking is we are 13%, or some say 70% of the American population, but we commit 50% of the crime. I challenge that by saying there's lots of crimes committed by white people that are not reported. Right? If you over-police a community, you will find crime. If I go outside and I decide to stop every single white person I see, I guarantee I'll find something on 50% of them. But if I don't, then I find nothing. So Kev, we're going to start with you, brother. In your research, what did you find? You can jump on anything I said, any of the videos you just watched.
Yeah, man. Wow. First of all, let me give my love to the great legendary Paul Mooney, who we just lost. And Paul Mooney was Def Jam before Def Jam. Paul Mooney kept it real, man. He brought that heat every night on stage. The clips you just heard, I've seen him live. I see him do that stuff live in front of audiences of all white people, and they sit there and watch him. And he never bit his tongue. He just brought it, man. And he was so amazing to watch. He was unapologetic, man. So shout out to Paul Mooney. I can just ramble forever about Paul Mooney because I'm a huge fan of Paul, and I met him many times. And I didn't know him personally, but I knew him. He knew me. We met each other on several occasions. So just a shout out to Paul Mooney, who we just lost. Thanks for running those clips, man. Those were definitely on point. What I found out in my research, one of the weird things I found out about Black men on death row, well, just death row period, is that very rarely do white people get the death penalty for killing Blacks. I found that out, which was it just caught my attention as I was doing my research. I was like, wait a minute. So if I go out, or anybody go out and kill a white woman, the chances of them getting the death penalty is very good, especially depending on the state you're in. Texas or Florida or something like that. If you're Black and you kill a white person in Florida or Texas, you most likely will get the death penalty. You can kill a Black person, and the chances of you getting the death penalty is very slim. I just wanted to point that out. The other angle I want to take, what made us do this show, what made me bring this up and wanted to do this show, was the executions of Black men that are now, it's coming out that these men were most likely innocent. Called DNA is now proving some of these guys to be innocent that were executed in the past. That's very troubling. And as we talked about in our pre-show, Carl, there are times when these judges and prosecutors refuse to hear evidence that may exonerate some of these guys. Like, you got a guy sitting on death row. He's 3 months away from being executed. His life is being taken away. And somebody comes and go, well, we got evidence that Mr. John Doe may be innocent. And the judge will go, well, I don't want to see the evidence. You know, what kind of human does that? And of course, it happens mostly to African Americans. You know? I mean, once again, we are at the top of the chart when it comes to this type of stuff. You know, South Carolina, I believe, the governor there is about to pass a law to bring the death penalty. But they already had the death penalty, but to bring the firing squad back. The firing squad. Most of the men on death row in South Carolina, from my research, are African Americans. That's not a good look.
Nope.
Because the firing squad most likely aren't going to be a group of brothers. You know, it's going to be Caucasian men most likely, you know, that are standing there with rifles shooting a man to death, you know. It's troubling, man. I mean, this is the United States of America. 2021, and the firing squad is on the table. I mean, what's next after the firing squad? We're going to bring hanging back, right? It's only a matter of time. Because next, Texas is going to go, okay, well, let's bring the Republican governor. Let's bring the hanging back. And there we go, full circle. But this time it's all in law, you know, to do this. So yeah, this show right here, we're gonna open some eyes, man. It's gonna be, you know, it's devastating what's happening right now. I don't know. Two African Americans were put to death the week before Biden became president, back to back. You know,
yeah.
Trump was like, let's get him. You know, the Republican-run governor states, you know, they weren't having it, man. Just put these guys as you know, death penalty, man. You know, and it happens a lot in Republican-run states. Let me point that out. I found that out through my research.
Yeah.
Texas and Florida. Nobody. Hold on, real quick. Texas and Florida. Nobody executes more people than Texas and Florida.
Of course, that's where it all started.
Exactly.
That's where it all started.
Yeah. Michelle Henson says they target our activists. I mean, which, you know,
Yes.
is true. Russell Clark said judges sentence blacks harder than other communities. Yes, they do. Studies show blacks get 7 to 10 more years in jail than whites do. 7 for the same crime. We're talking the same crime. They get 7 to 10 more years of jail time, and they're 10% more likely to get the death penalty. You know, it's probably higher. Michelle Henson also said, those kids who beat up Michaela Miller, I have to look her up. I'm not sure about this case. I don't know if you guys heard about Michaela Miller the day before she was found dead, wrapped by a belt to a tree. Kids involved apparently have police connections. Michelle, I have to look up the Michaela Miller case because I'm not aware of it. But thanks for sharing that. We're gonna look it up. I'll read some more comments later. But I mean, okay, this statistic where it says that black people commit more crimes. We're 13%. We're 13% of the population, but we commit 50% of the crime. Is total BS. You know what I mean? It's a matter of over policing communities, right? Because we've seen videos on top of videos. I even have white friends that told me that police have stopped them and they had drugs on them and they took the drugs and told them go home. The rapper Ja Rule, I saw him do a video. He was doing an interview and he was talking about his days when he was selling drugs and stuff. He said they had a white friend with them. The police stopped them. I think they were in a car, they were walking or whatever. He said the police held him and the other 3 black guys, told the white kid to go home, get out of this. You're not supposed to be in this neighborhood, and just let him go. So I don't understand why it's hard for people. I mean, look at the history of how America have treated blacks. Why is this a stretch to believe that America would skew statistics to make black people look bad? And on top of preach, I'm coming to you next. But doesn't this count as murder? I mean, America killed 250,000 Iraqi civilians in the Iraqi war. Those are innocent people. Those are like your next door neighbors, people who just going about their regular day, just going to the supermarket, getting up, going to work. America dropped bombs and killed 250,000 of those people, regular, everyday citizens. Doesn't that count as murder? Doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't that count as murder? But you're telling us that black people commit the most crime, you know? Hitler was white. He killed millions. Stalin was white. He killed millions. You know, doesn't that count? So how do we get labeled as the murderous people? You know. Anyway, Preach, I'm coming to you, and you can jump on what I just said, videos or your research. You know, however angle you want to attack it. Go ahead. You're muted. You're muted. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, because I said some shit first before that the rest of the audience couldn't hear. Had to get it off my chest. Now that I got that out the way, that was not for the PG under, you know, the PG-13 audience. So I had to mute myself, but I had to say it anyway.
You have the name, and the first one I say shit. You have your name is Preach. Your name is Preach.
That's right. It's a name, right? Which is a noun, not a verb. I'm not here to preach. Okay. I am.
Okay.
See, that's the difference.
You preach some serious shit. Okay.
But what is real is that a lot of stuff we saw. Okay, I have to make a comment on the Malcolm X video. I mean, R.I.P. to you know, to our brother that we lost in comedy. And Paul Mooney was just an amazing, you know, comedian. And people didn't even know that he wrote for Richard Pryor for years before, you know, he became like the person on the stage. So he had a lot to do with the influence of comedy in this country. Brian Stevenson, I want to mention, he's an attorney who works for the Equal Justice Initiative. That's the program that goes around on these death, or, you know, the people on death row cases and trying to exonerate them. They did a movie about one of his cases recently, probably a year or so ago, with Walter McMillan, who and this is not even long ago. This is 1988. The police snatched him up from while he was working and said, "Yeah, you're gonna." Their favorite saying is, "You're gonna ride the lightning for what you did." He's like, "But I didn't do anything." He's like, "It doesn't matter. We're gonna find you guilty." And there was that kind of attitude where the police, you know, how is it said? If there's a murder, they're gonna catch your black ass. It's like, well, we don't know if it's a black person that did it or not. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. They're gonna catch your black ass. And that was their philosophy. One of the things that Brian Stevenson noticed was that between 1877 and 1950, more than 4,000 blacks were lynched. Okay, and that because of that, you know, there's 12 states that have a history. You know, the history of slavery and lynchings influenced the high rate of death sentences. As Kevin said, you know, the higher rate of death sentences in the southern states, and part of that's because of the history of slavery and lynchings. They don't consider us to be equal humans or equal in humanity, where we should not get that pass on something. Okay. One of the other famous things that, and I know everyone heard about this one, Reuben Hurricane Carter, the boxer.
Oh yeah.
Who, you know, that Denzel starred in a movie because he was falsely sentenced to death. Okay, and spent 20 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit before he was exonerated and released. So just think about it. If death row wasn't set up where you have all these automatic appeals and to appeal your case, go to the next court, he would have been put to death long before they realized, oh, he didn't do it. So there are several people, and like I say, thank God for Brian Stevenson and his Equal Justice Initiative, that they're going out and seeking, you know, to find the innocent people that are on death row and getting them off of death row and saving lives. Because they're not, like Kevin said, they're not trying to look at new evidence. It's like, and part of it, I think, is who wants to admit that they were wrong. But this is being wrong in a big way. You're being wrong with a man's life. You're admitting, oh man, that's not a my bad. That's like, oh, my bad. No, you were gonna kill this man. And you have to look at new evidence. If there's new evidence that shows he's innocent, you have to look at it. So, shout out to Brian Stevenson and the Equal Justice Initiative for doing work that needs to be done.
Sorry, with the motorcycle in the back.
You said something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Preacher, I can say something before you go to Tanya real quickly.
Yeah.
Ronnie Long spent 44 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And he just recently got out in, I think, February of this year. 44 years. He was accused of raping a white woman. He went to court on a traffic violation, walked into the courtroom, and somebody said, hey, that's the guy that raped me. And he went to prison, was convicted by an all-white jury. He just recently got out of jail, I believe it was February of this year, after 44 years for something he didn't do. Ronnie Long. Yes. Everybody watching this show, Google that and read the story on Ronnie Long. Innocent African-American spent that much time in jail for a crime he didn't do. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I forgot to mention that in my opening speech.
Right.
Is that the guy that can sing, Kevin?
Huh?
Is that the guy that can sing? That he was with When the Wine and singing the other day? That's not him?
I'm not quite sure. I didn't see
it. Okay, no.
Yeah, I didn't see the episode you're talking about, but it may be. But yes, Ronnie Long, who wrongfully convicted of rape and just got out of jail after 44 years. And I think the state just gave him a settlement. Georgia, I believe, just gave him a settlement for a few $1 million. But you can't.
What?
You can't. I mean, he got a nice chunk of money, but he can't get them years back that he lost.
Nope.
That's what that money doesn't bring those years back. It just doesn't. Just want to point that out.
And all that happened to him for being accused of rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, in North Carolina.
Exactly, in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, if the second to last video we watched with the police supposedly trying to arrest a black man who was not resisting, I never understand why. What do police expect you to do if they're flinging you around? They're pulling you here, pulling you there, pulling you up, pulling you down, and then they tell you at the same time stop resisting. You know what I mean? You're trying to stand.
Or they're pulling you so you can look like you're resisting.
But clearly in this one, there was no resistance on his part at all.
No.
And then they threw him to the ground and talk about, oh, get on your stomach. It's like, you the one that threw me down on my back, okay? Yeah. And then the first thing he went to, the cop grabs him by the neck and starts leaning in on him. It's like, why is choking the first move to go to? What is that?
Well, that is because they don't see us as human.
Exactly. Those particular cops did not. You can tell by the way they were talking.
Yeah. So Tanya, we're gonna come to you, and you can.
Well, on that note that you were talking about, you can see in the video, based on just, for me, the body language and what they're saying, he's like a deer that they're hunting, pretty much. It seemed like a hunt to me. And if that guy died, they should be charged with murder, because when he did that special hold, that is a technique that everybody knows will stop you dead in your tracks. So it's like, why would you do that to a man cuffed? But we won't go there because, of course, there's always. Yeah, exactly. So what I wanted to say was that a lot of the people that I saw that had been in for 20, 30 years, they went in during a really shaky time, civil rights and Jim Crow. And so they, just with that in mind, anybody even before friggin' 8 years ago, before the Innocent Projects and all those different entities popped up to help people, pretty much they knew that it was going to be a railroad system. We need a criminal because we need to make money. So just get any black man off the street because they don't have money, for the attorney, right? Because most of the white people that commit the crimes, like Bernie Madoff, right? what's his name, Epstein, I can go on forever, like even the Texas, the guy that did the shooting, the young kid, Dylan Roof, and them, people raise money for them, right? So you get a different level of service, unfortunately. And most of the time, I think more black men do not commit more crimes. It's absolutely, statistically, it doesn't make sense. If black people make up, just give roundabout numbers, if black people make up 14% of the population, I'm being high on that, right? And that means that 7% of women or 7% men, and then let's say, do however you want to do the math, 7 and 7 for women and men. Then that means 7% men, right? If we're doing 7% men, how the heck do you make up all the crime? That doesn't even make sense. And you're not even up 7% of it. It doesn't add up. And I'm not even a math genius, but it doesn't add up. So we know, with that being said, that a lot of people end up who are ending up in jail, innocent or guilty, is because of lack of money, and some went in during Jim Crow, and if they didn't go in during Jim Crow, during civil rights, and then even after that, like now, you have your Proud Boys in courts and judges who, I saw a judge on TV on some clip somebody sent me saying something like, the interview asked him, well, this could have got him off like years ago. Why didn't you feel that was worthy to be heard? He said, well, I just didn't feel like it. And his face literally was like this. I just didn't feel like it. Like, what? We don't pay you to feel. We pay you to know the law. And the law says he should be, proven guilty. You know what I'm saying? So if you have something,
the reason is doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand it. So to me, him saying that let me know, oh, he's a Proud Boy judge. That's how I saw it. So anyway, I wanted to sum that up with the fact that I love the Innocence Project. And what they do is they help people get exonerated. They look at cases and see what's going on. So they said it best when they said the stakes couldn't have been higher for Malcolm, who faced a sentence of life without parole. Yet the attorney that he entrusted with his life did next to nothing to defend him. That's Vanessa Potkin. She's the director of post-conviction litigation. And that pretty much, I hate to say it, most that are in there, they didn't have the right attorney, and they don't have the right attorney. They don't have the money. So they may not have did nothing. I know people, I worked in a jail. I know people who I believe they said, I didn't do nothing. I know people that was in jail. I knew a young lady, and I felt bad. I would love to know if she's still there. But she stabbed her husband, she was like 18 when it happened, I want to say. She was very illiterate. She doesn't read or write, the whole nine. And imagine, she served 30 years. When I met her, she was serving 30. She had already did 30 years. So that was like 15 years ago. I'm just giving the math. So she, I asked her about, And so she said, well, he was extremely abusive, and he was going to kill her. So she reached for the knife and stabbed him. Well, he lived, and he said, I don't want to press charges, because he knew he was wrong, I guess. But the state said, nope, we're going to press charges, and they gave her life. So she's been in jail for life for stabbing someone who lived, who said, I don't want her charged. But so they said, no, we're going to charge her. But imagine 30 years ago. Come on, Jim Crow was like, come on, civil rights was, it was murky waters for anybody black in court. Good luck, So nothing shocks me, basically, because remember, if you look at the court system, right, a lot of judges have been there for like 30 years, 20 years. They just live forever. It could be good if they're a good judge, but if they're not a good judge, you got decades of just repeat. So that's something that needs to be. We need more innocent projects. How about that? We need more attorneys stepping up and saying, "Let me just look at this case and see what's going on," because that's the only way we're really going to even the field in that arena.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Tanya. Because you made a good point, Tanya. You brought up something that's, how come we don't have black people that put money up? Like Dylan Roof goes into a church.
Thank you.
Kills 9 black people. Shot 11, I think, or shot 10. But anyway, executes 9 black people that lost their lives that day. He goes to jail, and they had to shut down his GoFundMe page because he was receiving so many donations. Money that's probably coming from white evangelical Christians, by the way. And then the kid that shot people out in the boy that shot the people and walked past the police, Rittenhouse, whatever his name is. Same.
Right.
People was sending him money to his thing. Like these guys kill people, they go to jail, and white people donate millions of dollars to their defense. If Donald Trump is an alleged billionaire, right? Allegedly, if he goes to jail, you know how many white people are going to send money to his lawyers to defend him, to help him get out of prison, or just to defend him? We don't do that.
Nope.
You know.
Nope.
I mean, we don't do that. I mean, nobody put money up for Bill Cosby. I mean, I'm just saying, nobody put money up. Nobody put money up for nobody black that goes through the court system. You know, nobody's going, hey, let's get a GoFundMe page for Kevin Lee because he beat the shit out of somebody. You know what I'm just saying?
Right.
That's a good point, man. I don't know. I mean, it's racism, I guess. We're not racist because anybody who donated money to Dylan Roof obviously is racist.
Absolutely.
And agreed that it's okay to shoot 9 black people.
Yep.
After they paid for you.
That was their reward, Kevin, and white supremacists often do that since before we were born. They always reward each other, even when they go in jail. If you watch how the Aryan race moves, if you come into jail and you killed some Negroes, boy, they will take care of you. You're gonna get steaks every night. That's the sad part.
I read an article last night before I went to sleep. I was on a cruise last night, by the way. I read an article after my show, 2:00 in the morning. I'm reading articles, doing some homework before my reception went out. I lost reception. But anyway, Gary Johnson in New York went to jail for 24 years for a crime he didn't do. He was accused of killing a cop. The judge knew he was innocent, but didn't allow evidence to come in to prove his innocence. The judge knew he was innocent and didn't let the evidence come in to say, so this guy wouldn't have to spend 24 years of his life in jail.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you what color the judge was, right? I'm just saying.
Black. So the judge was black?
No, the judge was white.
Oh, okay.
No, I was being facetious. I was being facetious. It was a black judge that did it because he didn't want to be thrown off the bench, but by being fair. No.
Right. So this speaks to everything that I've been saying, that we're focusing on the police, defund the police are racist, police. But it's not just, I mean, racist people don't just sign up to be police.
Nope, the judges.
Yeah.
The lawyers.
Yes. How many
your case?
How many court-appointed attorneys have told the black kids plead guilty and
all the time?
Yeah, plead guilty just because they don't want to deal with it.
Yes, but they tell white kids.
They tell them plead guilty, you'll get less time. Basically, you've already thrown him to the wolves, saying you're going to get time. Just let me let you get less. So like you're not going to fight to free me. You're just thinking about less time. So I'm getting time anyway, as far as you're concerned.
Nope.
That's
they tell white
defender.
kids to plead the fifth. They tell white kids to plead the fifth. Don't say nothing. I saw a case once, and I personally saw this, where this Caucasian person literally, let's say it was like a DWI, and they told, what they say? Oh, this is crazy. I've never seen nothing like this in my life. They told him, do not take the breathalyzer. It's now, if I told them I ain't taking no breathalyzer, I'd be knocked upside my head. They said, I refuse. They refused the breathalyzer. That's how they was able to get them around the situation and just pay a lot of money. So they tell them different things than they tell us a lot of times. Not all the time, but a lot of times.
Yeah.
Paul Mooney said getting away wasn't in the playbook.
Exactly.
And that is the realest shit I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Getting away was not in the playbook. And that explains all of this anger. That explains Jim Crow. That explains the police.
Yep.
Beatings, the lynchings through the 60s and 50s and up till now.
Yes.
That explains all of that. We were not meant to get away.
Nope. Not meant to.
Yeah.
And still be alive.
Yeah. I liken the relationship with white and black in America is like is like if you walk by a dog that's chained up, a big bad pit bull, he's chained up every day, and you kick him. And years go by, you kick this dog and you laugh at it. Then one day you come by and the chain's loose and the dog's just standing there. You know? Yeah, now what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that like Kevin said, Paul said, us being free wasn't in the plan. They thought slavery was gonna go forever and ever and ever, and we were never gonna be free. And they were gonna have control over us.
Yep.
You know, I mean, on a daily basis, when I interact with some white people, I can tell they're upset. If I show any kind of authority, I can tell they're upset. I can see it in their face. Who are you? Who the hell are you, Mr. Black Man, to talk to me in such a way? You know what I mean? And
I'm sorry.
Or the fact that they're saying that you think you can actually talk to me. How dare you? How dare you?
And it's a constant battle. It's a constant everyday battle. That's what people don't understand about being Black in America. It's not just watching Black people being shot and not getting loans. It's just every single day, every part of the day, every simple shit. Like, okay, I bought a car a week ago, and I'm in the office doing all the paperwork and stuff like that. And this white lady, she's the finance person, and he's trying to put one of those add-ons, trying to I said, I don't need that. And she was like, well, if that's how you feel about it, then I ain't gonna tell you. She just went into this kind of
yeah,
like, who do you talk to everybody like that? Like, she just had this total. She tried to be tough, like, you know, talk like a street kind of person, like, you know, well, if that's how you want to do it, then I don't know what to say to you. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
not be buying no car from her.
You know, but that's what people say. But where you going, no matter where you go, you always run into these people that treat you differently, and you know that
you go into.
I would have, but I can't. I need a car, Tanya. You mean go?
Yeah. But I'm not giving you my money. I've had a few dealers I walked out on. No way.
No. I mean, and what I do, I need a car, and I was without a car, you know, and I need a car. No matter 9 out of 10 are gonna be like that.
Yeah, but if you gave her your money, you just gave her the flag to go ahead and do what you want to do. That's what you just gave her. Not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying we have to stop giving people easy passes. We can't give it to them no more. If I walk into a dealer and if they even get, like, I walked into a store yesterday here and the salespeople were very shady, and I was like, oh, are they really trying? And my daughter said, it's not your imagination. I felt like that too. I said, okay, let's walk out. And they're like, oh, can we help you? No, too late. You won't get my money. So she missed the big sale, but that's how.
No matter where you go, you're gonna run into some form of racist bullshit. No matter where.
I think what he's saying is they're racist. If you go through your day, you leave your house, okay, you drive to the breakfast place. They're gonna be racist at the breakfast place. They're gonna be racist when you go to buy gas. You know, you have an opportunity to run into racist people every point in your day with everything you do. See, versus white people go, oh, I saw that thing on TV, the video where the police slammed them into that was horrible. So for that one moment, it was horrible for you. But all day long, guess what? I'm wearing this. I am this. I can't take it off. So everywhere I go, people are gonna look at me. They're gonna judge me. They're gonna treat me differently. Every day, it's gonna happen. It has a potential to happen with every interaction I have.
Yeah,
some of them won't. Some of them won't. But a lot of them will.
A lot of people live in bubbles, though. A lot of people live in bubbles. A lot of Caucasian people, and I don't mean to say this like point out white people. I'm just saying they live in bubbles.
You don't see it.
They're not around. I'll give you a perfect example. Last night after my show on the cruise, a couple comes up to me, and they're the last people in the room. And they were, I think the lady was 61 and the husband was 56. They were married, and they come up and they talk to me. And they love the show and everything, and they're like, "We're conservatives." I knew right then they wanted to talk to a black man.
Yeah,
you know, they told me they were conservatives.
Yeah,
and I know they're wealthy. I know they have money. They did, you know, everybody on that ship is rich. You know, the ship caters to rich older white people. They were the youngest people on the ship, actually, next to me. So and they were 50.
Well, that's why they were the last ones to leave, because wheelchairs go out first.
Yeah, wheelchairs go out first, man. Everybody get to bed after my show. But they come, they talk to me. They were and we had already left Baltimore. The cruise went out of Baltimore, so they drove from Louisiana, where they're from, Freeport, Louisiana, up to Baltimore to get on this cruise, so they can go down and see Williamsburg, Virginia, and all Virginia Beach and all that stuff on a cruise. But anyway, long story short, they're talking to me. They told me up front they're conservative. They're like, the lady was like, we were in Baltimore. We drove in, and our GPS Waze took us through a neighborhood we didn't expect to be in, and the guys come up and watching our windshields and wanted money. I don't know if you go to the city, the guys do windshields with money, and she was terrified that they were doing that. And another guy come up, he's selling us a bottle of water. He's selling water to us he wanted $1 for water.
Yeah.
So I try to explain to them, the best way I can, that these, obviously you haven't been in an inner city around black people to know that these people are just hustling to get $1,
Yeah.
It's either sell water, clean your windshield. At least they don't have a gun and ask you for your wallet. You know what I mean?
Right. And they're not robbing you, right?
You're not robbing your ass. They're asking
the honest living.
People are hustling. But they didn't understand. I had to try to school these people because they come from another world. They live in this bubble all their life, and they don't understand. And that's why we have so much racism. Because black people, because so many white people are so uneducated when it comes to other races. They don't understand. She's scared to death for her life because some guy's cleaning her window for $1. You go to your restaurant, your expensive steakhouse, you're gonna leave a big tip to the waiter. He's doing the same thing that they're doing. They want a tip. That's why they're waiting on you that's why they're giving you good service at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, because they want that tip. This guy cleaning your window because he wanted a $3 tip or $2 tip, whatever. It was just amazing talking to two people who probably never had that conversation with an African American in their life, but wanted to get in my head so bad. And talk to me about life. You're right, Tanya. It was a lot of guilt. And they would have this conversation with a black guy because they don't know how they felt comfortable coming to me because they just watched my show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And after 30 minutes of talking to them, the wife was like, "I'm going to bed." The husband said. The husband goes,
No.
I'm going to stay here and finish talking.
Right. No, like.
I was stuck on that stage. I didn't clean up my prop case yet. I'm stuck on that stage for another almost hour talking to this guy about the United States of America, and we, racism, and why we send all our money overseas when we could be doing things here. And he's a hardcore conservative Fox News guy, and we had a conversation, man. I had to balance the conversation because I'm on a cruise ship. I'm an entertainer. So I have to balance it to the point where I'm not offending him, but I'm schooling his ass, giving him some real talk, because he wanted some real talk from an African American, and he got it last night. But my point I'm trying to make, Tanya and panel, is that they're just a lot of white people need to spend more time around black people, and they don't, and that's what the fear comes from. That's where the fear comes from. I had a guy in Baltimore. Speaking of Baltimore, I went to Baltimore today to get my car. And I was in the rent-a-car, and the guy comes up to clean my windshield. And I said, I don't need my window clean. It's a rent-a-car, but I still gave him some money. I'm about to turn the car in. I'm 2 blocks from the rental place. I don't clean the window. Here's a couple bucks, man. Thank you. But these people they're not used to being around African Americans, and they just had this fear, and their only education is Fox News. Yes. Education, because Fox News, they told me I'm a conservative. We're conservative. That means Fox News.
But what I liked about them, Kevin, is the fact that they did come up, even though I know it's like, oh, what am I, the official answer everybody man now? I get that. But I like them because that is how it all starts. The change starts. Is that, okay, this might be awkward, but I'm going to go up and ask this white lady why they think I'm taking a purse every time I get on the train. I'm going to go ask her because then in that conversation, both of us get enlightened, whether we like it or not. Both of us getting enlightened. As long as there's no violence involved and no crazy name calling, it's great. It's a great thing that at their age that they ask, because now they're going to start looking at Fox News a little different.
Well, dude gave me a hug last night. When we finished talking after almost 90 minutes, you know, dude, when we finally said I got to roll, I got to go back to my I get some sleep. You know, I got to get up and get off the ship in the morning. You know, he gave me a hug. He gave me a hug. You know, probably the first time.
And that's sincere,
brother, man. You know, I mean, it's probably that closest he's ever. He probably never hugged a black man before. I just had that feeling that he wanted to get in my world for a minute and be educated, and it was an amazing experience. Actually, I enjoyed it.
I think he was just patting you down to see if you had stolen his wallet during the conversation. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When they first started talking to me, I thought it was some funny stuff, because a lot of times as an entertainer, I've been approached by men to come back and do their wives, right? I wrote about that in my book.
I can't. Well, okay, I gotta get to that.
So I thought, because they were so friendly to me, and I was like, everybody garnish up you too? And I was like, oh, this dude ain't trying to get me to come back and watch why I do it.
I want you to juggle that bowling ball while you bang your wife.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I think
for my wife.
I think that was a good transaction that went down. I think that was very good.
Hilarious.
Got to have the dialogue, and when someone asks, we have to be ready to answer and not maybe get offended and not get, because I used to be like, what? You really asked me that? But then I started saying, wait a minute. Oh, what'd you say? Oh, well, here's the deal. And then I try to school them, like you said, in a way that's helpful, and that we can, I mean, like one of the, what's her name, the comedian, Amanda Seales, she said, why do I got to educate white people? So I get that, but I also get that there's some people who really live in the clouds. I know a lady told me, I've never had to interact with white black people unless I chose to. And I was like, well, that tells me a lot that you didn't want to do it. And so, you know, I'm having this dialogue with her. But when I thought about it, I said, she's right. She lives in an area in Pound Ridge where there are no black people except for a couple that are scattered out, their own houses there too. And so she doesn't really ever have to see black people if she chooses not to, ever. So I said, well, why don't you make a choice to see some? Because I don't know what Negroes you're looking at, but there's plenty of fabulous ones of us, more fabulous than not. How about that?
One thing she said real quickly before you go to the next subject call, one thing the lady said to me was the neighborhood that she drove through, she says, those homes, they're so old but beautiful. I know what section she's talking about because that's right where the stadium is in Baltimore. I said, yeah, they built this multi-million-dollar stadium there. I said, rich people come to the football game. They tailgate there on Sundays, watch football games 16 weeks out of the year. Then they go back to the suburbs. The billionaire who owns that stadium, M&T Stadium, they don't put no money back into that neighborhood. You know, they come there, they play their football on Sundays, then they leave. I said, but don't worry about it. This neighborhood will be fixed up eventually. But those people you saw cleaning your window, they won't be there. Because they're going to gentrify the neighborhood. They're going to fix the neighborhood up, and white people are going to move in. I told her that.
Yep. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
Michelle Henson says we have to own the fact that a lot of these TV shows feature black folks.
Oh, that's another.
Black folks don't help the narrative.
Yes.
I'm not. I know a lot. I know a lot of black people that love Martin, but I also know a lot of black people that felt like Martin was too buffoonish.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's
I'm not. I can't name any of the black shows off the top of my head that would be. You think like shows like What's Happening and Good Times? You think
they're all buffoonery?
Of course. Yeah, those shows are. I mean, Jimmy Walker.
Yeah.
Who I know personally. Jimmy Walker.
Yes.
I mean, it was buffoonery.
Yes.
Michelle said Empire.
Empire is buffoonery.
The show for that reason, by the way, guys.
Which one?
John Amos, who played the dad on Good Times, he left the show because he wanted them to get out the ghetto. He wanted them to be successful. And Norman Lear was like, no, you guys gonna stay in the hood and struggle.
Yep, he's gonna keep you like raisin in the sun.
And then he eventually came around, and that's where the Jeffersons came in. You know, okay, we'll do a black family that got money, and they did the Jeffersons, but he didn't want the Good Times family to get out the ghetto.
Well, also George, look at George. I mean, George, he's an upstanding character and everything, and he's made it. But what does he do? He's always like, oh, he's an angry black man. Why are you gonna do this? Oh, shoot. And then you got the maid who's sassy. That would be me. The sassy maid.
I love Florence and George. That's my favorite.
Cosby Show was the only show, I think, if you got to correct me. Oh, well, Nurse Julia, maybe Nurse Julia. I got to remember all the scenes of Nurse Julia. Maybe Nurse Julia. But I think Cosby Show might have been the only one that didn't have total buffoonery, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but
you're right.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. Even they had like funny moments, lots of funny moments. Of course, he's a comedian, but nothing that was like, really? Why you put that dress on with the earrings, boy? You know, nothing that's crazy that's going to make them stand out and say, look, I'm making everybody laugh. It's nothing.
And I hate to say it. You know why, Tanya? You know why? Because Bill Cosby was running the show. And Bill
that's
Cosby,
what the problem was.
No matter what you think about Cosby now, or what he may have done, that's another show. But Cosby, at one point, you know, was the man, and at one point he pulled strings and told the truth, you know, about stuff, you know, and he had heat with other comedians. I mean, he had a beef with Pryor, you know, he had a beef with the Def Jam guys, you know, D.L. Hughley can't stand him. So I mean, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yes.
You know, with his prima donna attitude, but he also knocked down some walls for some brothers too, you know.
But a lot of black people had a problem with Cosby. I was at a barbershop and there was an argument where half the barbershop was saying Cosby Show doesn't represent black, but that ain't how black people live. We don't live like that.
Yeah, but black people I know do.
You know, it's sad that they think that we can't live like that, or that there's a majority of us that don't live like that. They've been brainwashed to think that all we are is the people out there cleaning the windshields, okay, or selling bottles of water, or that we're the good times people living in the ghetto, that we don't have houses, we don't have professions like the Cosby had, where there's a husband and wife that are both professionals raising their kids and sending them to college. Oh, we don't live like that. But we do. We do.
Exactly.
And see, that's
I
what we
know
need to
a lot
realize.
of them. And that's the thing that pisses me off. I was going to bring up the fact that the media helped feed this narrative from day one, and they are also people who I feel like should somehow be starting to be held accountable, because even if it comes from the executive producer, even if I think it comes from whoever owns the station, whatever their thoughts are, we try to stay on that line. But you know, to have the image has got to be changed. I think the media is a big beast in this. Big beast, because they keep feeding that stereotype. And I'll give you an example. My neighborhood that I live in, that I grew up in, my foster home, of course, I got lucky. You know, I don't know if you ever heard the Lynx and the Boulets and all them people, Jack and Jill. There's lots of them over there. That's why I was like, what kind of people are they referring to? Now, if you go back to my old neighborhood before I was a foster kid, I'm gonna get all the stereotypes you got that you could throw at me. But my foster home, yeah, we had cars, we had houses. Everybody I knew in my church was either a doctor, a lawyer, or something, a psychologist, or something like that. I don't know who the people that they're talking about are. You know, are what this media shows, like we're all robbers. I'm like, okay, if I go see Pookie in the hood, maybe I might, or not even the hood, but I go see Pookie wherever, maybe I might find one or two, but it's not everybody. And the stereotype is filled through the media. They don't come to our neighborhood and says, you know, interview people like my foster mom, who was a civil rights leader. They don't interview her. They don't interview people like Maxine Waters or put her on TV. Or, you know, or even, you know, like Maya Angelou, all the great, fabulous Black women. There's so many Black men and women that are phenomenal. Like one of my cousins, a tech guy. No, I've never heard nothing about him. Nothing on the news. Not one thing.
But this goes back to what Kevin said, Paul Mooney said. We weren't supposed to be, we weren't supposed to be free. So they want to keep us, they want to keep us at that level.
Yes.
Right? They don't want to think of us. They don't want to think of us as smart, free-thinking people who can create stuff, who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are judges, who can do. They're more comfortable when we, you know what I mean, when we are just kept at a certain level.
That's subservient.
And that goes back to like Kevin knows, and I'm sure we've all experienced it, where like I always wonder, well, I understand why do black people take these roles on TV or in the movies? Why do they take the roles of the muggers or because that's all they give you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And for some people to refuse that is hard. If you want to be an actor, the plan probably is I'm going to take these stereotypical roles, and once I get a foot in the door, I'm going to parlay into. But it very rarely happens.
Who's the actress? Who's the actress that played the maid in Gone with the Wind? What's her name?
Hattie
McCabe. She once said she played a maid in a movie so she wouldn't have to be a maid in real life.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a fact. That's true.
Yeah. So she became a rich woman playing a maid, so she wouldn't have to be a maid. You know, so we have to make that sacrifice sometimes. Look at the dude that played Huggy Bear. Or
I know
Starsky and Hutch, you know, he played a pimp on Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah,
a pimp.
But he
had a house up by us.
But to us, you know, he was more than a pimp. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, to us, even today, you know, we just
Antonio Fargas was his name.
Fargas,
yeah.
You know,
he had a house up here.
He's still with us right now. He's still living, man. But you know, it just. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, it's made me think about Biggie. Biggie was so obsessed with Frank White, who was a character, a white character in a movie, The King of New York. Remember?
Yes, that's right.
The song Biggie did. He talked about Frank White. I'm Frank White. He's obsessed with a white guy who was a criminal in The King of New York. You know, so it goes both ways, I guess. But being stereotyped. I mean, our stereotype. We're also, like we talked about this before, are the most copied people on the planet too.
Absolutely.
So, as much as they pretend they don't like us, they do like us. Going back to Paul Mooney again, everybody wants to be a nigga, but nobody wants to be a nigga.
Yeah. Well, I know the saying goes.
The only person that can drop the N-word.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me cringe.
Yeah. Paul Mooney and DMX.
DMX,
yeah. But I mean, the answer to everything we're talking about, we just got to start owning our own stuff. You know what I mean? I don't understand why no matter how rich or how much money, how much power we think some black people, it seems like they're still afraid. There's still somebody on top. Right? There's still somebody on top that has that black person. You say, you know, you can't do whatever. Look at Bill Cosby. He wanted to buy NBC, and there was somebody. Yeah. I mean, look at Michael Jackson had to take out the word "kike" from his song. That's Michael Jackson was on top of the world when he put out that song. And somebody told Michael Jackson, "You're telling me Michael Jackson couldn't go F you? I'm Michael Jackson. This song is going out. I don't mean anything disrespectful by saying "kike me." This is what it means, and it's staying in the song. He couldn't say that. Nope. You know, Eddie Murphy had to put a white person in his Coming to America. You know,
I will argue, Carl, that Malcolm X message was probably, in my eyes, more powerful than Dr. King's.
Yeah,
it's my personal opinion, and I love Dr. King. And I love what he did for us. I'm a big Dr. King fan, but I think Malcolm X was more powerful.
Yes.
But Malcolm X would never be revered in this country as much as a Dr. King.
Yes.
You know?
They wanna, you know what I was gonna say, right?
Paul Mooney would never sacrifice stardom because he told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote for not only Richard Pryor, he wrote for Red Fox, and he wrote for Flip Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dude wrote for Flip Wilson, Red Fox, you know, and Pryor. But he stayed in the background, so you know he had a chance to be a star, but he wouldn't keep his mouth shut. You know, so he sacrificed being a household name like a Richard Pryor, you know, because Pryor got a lot of stuff that he you know, that was meant for Paul Mooney, but they gave it to Pryor because Paul Mooney was too out there.
Yeah,
you couldn't trust his mouth, and so you know, he took one for the team, right? You know, to preach the truth. But that's what I'm saying. He was the Malcolm X of comedy in a way. Is what I'm getting at. You know, Paul Mooney was the Malcolm X of comedy. He won't get the love that Richard Pryor get or Eddie Murphy get, and Malcolm X won't get the love from the general public that Dr. King gets. But
even though he really was the person that really catapulted Black people to say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Let me wake up. My Afro's okay. He really is the person that really put that finger and made us as a people accept and love ourselves. I gotta say that, even over Dr. King.
That's what we need to do. Yeah, you know what we need to do? We need to Byron Allen them. Remember Byron Allen, who used to have this show at 2:30 in the morning? And he was always like, damn, why am I stay up till 2 o'clock to watch his show? Well, guess what? Byron Allen owns like 11 stations now. Okay. Yep. Bought the Weather Channel. He's buying up shit. He just dropped $290 million to buy 7 more stations. But guess what? No one's talking about it. He's not talking about it. And that's why he's getting away with it, because he's not drawing attention to himself. And all of a sudden people are like, who just bought that? Yeah. Byron Allen. And he's a white kind of a white name. Byron Allen. You don't know that that's Black. That's not like Jamal Jackson just bought a station. It's like, oh no, he did. It was like,
but also, preach. A lot of people don't even know that Byron Allen was a stand-up comic either.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
Became this huge stand-up comic name. You know, he's one of the original Black comics in LA. You know, him and George Wallace. You know, those guys were around doing comedy. Wow. So God was on planet. You know, so
right. Well, they didn't realize, and he took the Paul Mooney route. He was a writer for, you know, he wrote for Jay Leno. Yep. He wrote for, you know, different people. So he stayed behind the scenes and wrote and stacked his paper and bought stations.
Yeah.
Wow. He was stacking hard body.
And Holly said something interesting, and she yells at me if I don't read her comments. She said, but the thing is not just how whites and other races think of us, it's how we think of ourselves.
Exactly.
For example, I happen to love Japanese gardens, and I had friends call me stuck up because of it. Like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. That's actually a topic we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Because I was in a store and they were playing Rhinestone Cowboy by Campbell, and I was singing along, and his brother stopped and turned around and stared at me. I was like a Rhinestone Cowboy. And his brother, I mean, he literally stopped and turned around and looked at me like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like,
I know.
You know,
you're
not supposed to like that song because, you know, I mean,
they did it to me all the time.
Podcast is over. I'm pumping some Kenny Rogers' greatest hits and deep.
I had that album. I
love Kenny Rogers. I ain't playing.
And Dolly Parton.
Some coward of the county. Everyone considered him the coward of the county.
I could see that. I could see.
Yeah, but man, you're not gonna.
You know what? This is no lie. When I do karaoke, one of the first songs I do is a country song.
Which song is that?
Yeah. Huh? I forget.
I have a country song on my ringtone right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one?
Somebody call my phone. It's a country song right now on my ringtone.
It's Walking in the Moonlight. Because he says, you'll be walking in the moonlight.
I love that song. Yes, walking in.
Norma Staley, Kevin's book is called Playing with Fire. So yes, people, please pick up Kevin's book off of Amazon. It's called Playing with Fire.
I'm out the country.
You can't call me then.
I can't call you.
I want you to hear this song. Yeah, you know what, Carl, though? When I'm in a grocery store or something, and I'm in line, and I get a call from a mom or Patricia, somebody calls me, and my ringtone goes off, and the country music is blasted out of my pocket or whatever.
They'll be like, what?
It kind of, you know, let's see if it comes in now.
Let me see. I can call you on WhatsApp.
I got what you calling me right now, but it's not ringing. I don't know where's my phone.
Here, I got it.
Oh, yeah, it's right. Okay. One more time. Hold on.
That's me.
Oh, it's you, a woman. Okay, hold on. I have my ringer down so that we get interrupted for the show. So
do it again.
All right.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Ready? Here we go.
Patricia just called me too, so let's see if it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all heard that?
I heard that.
Use that to cash money when you're in the hood, man.
Yeah, man.
So what about this? Being a black girl in Bedford, and the first thing you hear out of my mouth is, Beth, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now. Kiss.
Yeah.
They look at me like, what? And this is like when I was young, when it first came out. That was my favorite song. They were like, do you know who that is? I was like, yes, I know. They didn't know I knew who Kiss was because of my neighbor.
Right. Michelle Henson just put Kevin's book in the cart, Kev.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Grandma's going to put it in there too. Yep.
Yeah, be careful. It's a pop-up book.
Yeah. You're so crazy. Good book. It's very good.
Really
very inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to ask, Michelle mentioned Empire.
Yeah.
As you know what I mean? And I was curious exactly why, you know what I mean? Is it the way the characters are portrayed? And
but see, I don't think that is, Carl, because why can't we be gangsters and drug dealers? Oh, I mean, we have the Untouchables and
the Mafia,
Goodfellas and Scarface, you know, and all these other movies, you know, True Romance, and you know, all these movies where white people are drug dealers and gangsters and thugs and murderers and serial killers and everything else, right? So we got one TV show out of a million, and we play a crime family.
Yep.
And we're considered, you know, that's
but the thing is, for some reason, stereotypes stick to us more than anybody else, right?
Because the media puts it out there. If the media was to show, like,
because they already
do you
think
remember?
we're thugs.
Do you remember?
Right, yeah. Like, for example, nobody ever, all you hear about is Chicago. Oh, the gang killing in Chicago. Gang killing in Chicago.
Yeah.
Who killed more people in Chicago than Italians and the Irish Mafia? You know, from the 1920s all the way up to the 60s.
Yep.
You know, the mafia ran Chicago, and people died every day in the streets in blood gangs. Al Capone and killed hundreds of people. You know, but you never hear about that. They make a movie about it and glorify it. You know.
Yes.
Look at Goodfellas is based on a true story.
Yes. And the racketeering.
Yeah. Oh, you know, Joe Pesci is an icon now because he played a real life murderer from Goodfellas.
Yeah.
You see people walking around. I was in Florida, back in 3 months ago doing a show, and I went to a pizza restaurant named Capone's.
Yeah.
And they have Al Capone's picture on the box of the pizza place. I mean, on the box, you order pizza and you get a big giant pie. And it's Al Capone's picture, and his picture's all over the place. When you walk in, this Al Capone, does his family own this?
They glorify it.
Like, you can't have a restaurant say OJ's.
or George Lucas, right?
Yeah, can I open a pizza restaurant? OJ Simpson's.
Yeah.
You know, he killed 2 people. I mean,
Yeah.
Al Capone killed 10 times more people than OJ Simpson. But he has a restaurant named after him.
Nope.
White people forgive their own.
Yes, they do.
You know,
it's not just that restaurant. There are Capones everywhere, all over.
Really?
All over the place. Oh, remember when you were working on that TV show and we went to the place afterwards for subs called Capone's? We went to Capone's afterwards, you know, for food. They're everywhere.
But like I said, for some reason, though, stereotypes stick to us. You know what I mean? You can have 10 black guys walk down the street in suits, saying hi, giving out flowers, patting people on the head, petting dogs. And then here comes one brother in Timberlands and sagging pants, punches somebody in the head. Now it's going to be, you know what I mean? Now the focus is going to be on the one brother rather than the 10, you know what I mean? For some reason, stereotype just sticks. So I get what Michelle is saying, that I don't know, maybe Michelle, you can clarify, but until we are represented better on TV, maybe we shouldn't put out any negative images of ourselves. But is it really a negative image to have us play like the characters on Empire? Is it negative?
I think it's realistic.
I mean, Cookie is a strong character. So that part is like, oh, I can't believe
it. Julia, remember Diane Carroll, Julia? Can we have some characters like Julia?
Yes.
Diane Carroll, and that was a popular show that did well.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
And I actually liked what's her name? With the dimple, Gabrielle Union's show. Janet being Mary Jane.
Yeah, Mary Jane. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that they're like, oh, she's like over sexualized. I was like, well, she's a woman getting her groove on. I mean, I don't know. She's not hurting nobody. But she was a strong character, very strong. So it depends. I mean, I just feel like we need to start being our own writers to put ourselves in the light we want to see. So we can't everybody can't be like a nun, right? Because that would be a boring show. So I get it. But if you're going to put me on, give me the same roles that you give blonde hair, platinum blonde women. How about that?
No, not even that. Give them the roles. Okay, the series, The Equalizer, is back on the air. I say back on the air because it was on the air before. I think in the 80s, and it was an old white man who played the head role, who was this ex-CIA member who went and helped people who couldn't get help from the police. So they revamped the show. It's the same premise. Ex-CIA member who's helping people who can't get help from the police, but it stars Queen Latifah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So she's got the role the old white man used to have. See? So that's how we need to make progress.
What's the Forrest Whitaker show? I hear it's really good. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh yeah, that's the Harlem something of Harlem.
Malcolm X. They said the guy that's playing Malcolm X in that series is so good it's scary, and I haven't seen it yet. I need to see it.
I actually saw a scene where he met up with Malcolm, and it's talking about Godfather of Harlem. That's what it is. Godfather of Harlem.
I got to start watching that.
Well, that's the one.
I'm sorry. Somebody did point out that the only problem with the movie was with the series is Malcolm. They say this character, even though he plays Malcolm really good, it's scenes where he's sitting with his back to the door. They said Malcolm never did that. Malcolm was always so paranoid somebody's going to kill him. He never sit with his back to the door.
Never. Nope.
Okay, Anthony Wilder says the big difference for white people, the representation can be excluded from the white experience. People can watch and look at it, and that can be that. Doesn't apply to us.
Yes.
That doesn't apply to us. We have to find representation everywhere we can because we were never meant to occupy spaces.
Yes. And I'll give you an example.
Again, that goes right back to the Kevin thing where it says we weren't supposed to be free. Yeah. See, we weren't supposed to be in these. We weren't supposed to be lawyers, doctors, police officers, judges. We weren't supposed to be any of that. We were supposed to just be, or that.
Well, here's an example. In Scarface, was it Gina with the platinum blonde hair? Who was the one with the platinum blonde hair? Scarface's girlfriend or wife.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer played that part as a very well. And so you would think like, okay, we're gonna have the stereotype of white women being coke addicts, right? Nope. But Halle Berry played a crackhead. That has been the format for a black crackhead ever since. And not just her, but other people played drug roles. It's like it never stops. But yet nobody remembers Scarface's girl being a major coke addict because she was pretty and glamorous, and she had on fabulous clothes. You see what I'm saying? Her hair was platinum blonde, and she was just gorgeous. So it's a whole stereotype. When it's us, it's like, yeah, what's up? Hair's wild.
Even with that being said, though, Tanya, right? Halle Berry's had a much better career than Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
she had better boobs.
Michelle Pfeiffer wished she was Halle Berry.
I saw Swordfish. She's got better breasts too.
Okay. All right. Michelle Hickson said again, we have been all of those things for a long time. That's why I'm so that's why I'm sorry, not damn. That's why I'm so adamant about us not knowing our history.
Yes.
Yes.
Good point.
Yeah. But I don't know if she's saying that we should not take any roles. Is that what you're saying, Michelle? We shouldn't take any roles that demeans black people. If you go into an audition, I want you to play a hoe, I want you to play a pimp. If you're black, you say, nope, no, thank you. We're not taking those roles.
But that wouldn't be realistic, though. I mean,
It wouldn't be.
Denzel Washington played a dirty cop and won an Oscar, right? He should have got one for Malcolm, but he didn't get one for Malcolm.
Of course not.
He got one for Training Day.
Yeah.
But he deserved it. He was amazing.
He got an Oscar for being a slave too, or a former slave.
Yeah, also being a dirty cop, but he couldn't get one for being Malcolm X. But he got one for being a dirty cop and a slave in what's called
Glory.
Yeah, Glory, the movie Glory. You know, best supporting actress.
Yes.
So I mean, we have to play these roles because it's realistic to be a cop and be a dirty cop. It's realistic to be all prostitutes aren't white, some are black. You know, all pimps aren't white, some are black. So I mean, all drug dealers aren't white, some are black, right?
Well, it should be evened out, is what I'm saying. It should be evened out.
Hey, Hollywood, if y'all listening, call me.
I'll
be a good
call me.
I'll be a good drug dealer in the next Robert De Niro movie.
Yeah. I mean, I've told you guys about they wanted me to do my act as a Jamaican. And I was auditioning in New York, and the guy said, we can go out and I can make you famous. Just do your act, but use the Jamaican accent. And come out, and he had an outfit all picked out. You ever seen that in the cartoons where somebody's abandoned on an island? And then they come in like, right? In the short, you know,
shorts, the tattered shorts on the edges, and the shirt and rags, and a straw hat.
Yes, that's exactly how he wanted me to dress. He wanted me to dress like that and talk like that.
He give you coconuts?
Huh?
He give you coconuts?
Yeah, he wanted to put coconuts on stage, and he had his whole thing played out. And he was saying, "Man, look what it did for back then. Yakov Smirnoff, the Russian." You know what I mean? He was telling me Yakov Smirnoff now owns his own theater in Nashville, I think he said. Yakov Smirnoff has his own theater in Nashville, and he's making millions, and you know, he had it all played out. But what I found out, his thing was, here's this comedian from the island, what else is he gonna do, right? Well, he felt like he's gonna take it. I mean, he said, would you like to go back to your island with millions of dollars and show off on your friends? Wouldn't that be a great thing? And I mean, he had his all, and he thought it would jump on the opportunity.
Yep.
You know what I mean? For him to exploit, and you know what I mean? And I was like, no, I'm not.
Hey, Carl, I'm gonna torture you to juggle coconuts, man.
You get
I think we have to have standards. And if we don't, that's fine. I understand some people have to take it to eat. But I really believe the key is in us becoming writers and owning is the key. Because now, you know, you might have some black, some white, some Asian, some everything. Because to me, if Hollywood movies represented everybody so much so that I can't tell what color movie this is, now you're doing the right thing.
What was the movie that Keenan Wayne did, and he played the cop, and
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
No. The other one, it was more of a he played the cop. Start with S. What was it? Was it Sham or?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He had the bald head.
And
And
it was like
the girl from
parody on Shaft.
Oh, yeah. Shaft.
It was a parody on Shaft, I guess.
It was a parody of Shaft. Yeah. That was an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
It didn't do well though. You know, because black people didn't support it. You know, he wrote and produced it. He played a good cop. You know.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining, full of action and everything. And the white guy was the villain. And he and you know, but the movie didn't do well. I mean,
not enough publicity.
Look at a movie that did well. The movie that is now a cult movie among black people is 5 Heartbeats.
Yes.
But when it was in the theater, we got more views than that movie did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody would just support it in the movie theaters. When they started running it on HBO Max back in the day, and black people said, "Oh, that's a good movie." And
Yeah.
now it's a cult. Everybody watches it now. It's like one of the best black movies ever now. The
Yeah.
Five Heartbeats, right?
Yeah, Robert Townsend used to put out some good stuff, man.
Yeah, man, he did,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're already an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half into the show. Wow. Well, today we talked about why is death row so dark, meaning why are there so many black men on death row? We all know why there's so many black men on death row, but what are we going to do about it? How can we stop it? My take on it is I think black people need to realize that we don't only vote for president. We vote for judges. We vote for district attorneys. Right, district attorneys. The local elections is what is the place we really need to start voting. Until we start getting judges in a place that look like us, judges that can look at us and say and see some good in us. Because when we go in front of these white judges, all they see, you know what I mean, is another black man, another thug. Right? They don't care about you or your family. That's all they see. Here comes another thug. I have no problem sending you to jail. Here comes another thug that's on death row. Oh, they said they have evidence that he might be innocent. I don't want to hear that. But if you had somebody that looked like you up there in that judge's chair, I guarantee we would be given a fair shake. So my answer is we just need to put people in place that look like us, that would treat us fairly. Preach, I'm going to come to you. And any thoughts on today's show or anything you want to say before we sign off?
Absolutely. I agree that we need to vote more in every election, local elections, get more and get rid of this stop snitching thing. You need to be the cop, okay? All these black kids that aren't thinking that, hey, that's a good job. I have a friend that from high school who's been a police officer for the last 30 years. I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and he says he's getting ready to retire, and this is the best time because there's too much stuff going on with innocent police officers getting hurt. And he said that because he goes, I know there's dirty cops. I've seen them. I work with them. So he knows they're out there. But not all of them are like that. So, it starts at the lowest level to the highest level where you get to the judges. We need to keep supporting things like the Equal Justice Initiative of Brian Stevenson, trying to get people off of death row who are innocent. And we need to don't stop. And we need to get into everything. We need to write movies. We need to direct movies. We need to produce movies. We need to be in every part of it.
Yes.
From the bottom up.
Kev, how do we keep Negroes off of death row? Or how do we, they say we commit most of the crime. I think we already established we are not.
I think if we, I think the same way we get out and do the marching and protesting and all that stuff when the police kill somebody like we did with George Floyd. And I think we need to do the same thing with this type of thing. I think people in South Carolina should be outraged right now about this. There should be thousands of people on the courthouse, on the governor's front lawn right now saying, what the hell? We're not bringing up. And it's not just black people. It should be white people too. We're not bringing no freaking firing squad back in 2021 in America. You lost your damn mind, Republicans. So I think we just have to start showing outrage for more things like this, not just, the cops kneeled on the guy's neck, so we're going to take to the streets, or the cop killed this guy, and we're going to take. I think we need to start really just taking to the streets a little bit more for just, and I don't mean it in a violent way, people, so don't be emailing me.
I know if I'm ever on death row, I know how I'm going to get out of it. For my last wish, I'm going to request that if I'm taking the electric chair, I'm going to request to have a dog sit on my lap. I guarantee I have about 1 million white people outside that jail.
Exactly.
I'm going to request a bear, please.
A bear?
Or fish.
Yeah.
Something
particularly
like
bass.
Yeah, we just got to get out more, man. I mean, just make more noise, man, because
Well, the FBI did do a study and said we protest for 3 to 5 days and then we go about our business. So
and we got to figure out how black people can put funds together to help black people with lawyers, because
that's what I was about to go to.
The public defenders they work for the state, and they're going to want you to take a plea deal, because then you just end up in the system. So you don't do 10 years, you do 3, but you're still in the system. You get out at 3 years. Now you got to go on probation for another year and a half of your life. So your life is all screwed up. You're not part of the system. So I think real lawyers that don't work for the state that you hired represent you, keep your ass out of jail. Public defenders, which most black people get, is going to put you behind bars in most cases. That's why a lot of young black men go to jail, because they have public defenders. So we don't have millions of people sending in thousands of dollars to a GoFundMe fund for black people, you know, like Dylan Roof and all these other racist clowns get money sent to them on a regular basis when they do heinous crimes. And I think we can figure that one out. It'd be less black men in jail because we have real lawyers representing instead of these public defenders who work for the state.
Yes.
I have spoken.
Yeah.
Well, Tanya,
yeah, that's what I was going to say, Kev, that we need more lawyers like that are in the Innocence Project, entities like that, because they look for the out of the extraordinary, the thing that stands out the most that will get the person off. So that's a big thing. Lawyers who will fight the justice for pro bono or however they do that, I don't know. But also celebrities. One thing I noticed for with George Floyd, which was good, and was it Breonna Taylor too, or was it just George Floyd? Did you notice there was one clip of Tamir Lowry, the Lowry young lady? She was out there, and there was celebrities like LeBron James. Everybody came out. They were infuriated, and they all came out. More celebrities, in my opinion, need to, even if they don't want to ruin their brand to get out, they need to put that money up. Put it up, just like they did for Dylan Roof and for all the Rittenhouse. They need to put that money up for things like that when they know that there's a possibility that this person, or most likely that this person is saying, I'm innocent, I can prove it. They need to put that money up. And then lastly, the media. They've got to change the narrative. And since they cover everything else to make us look bad, they need to also step up and hone in on these people that have been exonerated, to re-clear their name and put a better image out there. At least that's the least they can do, and to show that we're on it too. We're helping put the narrative out there. Let's see if we can get this guy out. If there's enough evidence, and most of the cases where they were exonerated, there was evidence. I was like, really? That's all it took? Like, why didn't anybody see that? So the media, just like they make us look bad, they need to help us when we're really in need of getting the message out. So
yeah, well, like
stop littering.
We gotta control to stop littering.
Well, yeah, I think of Patrice O'Neal. He used to do this bit about how he doesn't litter because if he takes that Coke bottle and throws it over the bush, it's gonna land on the dead hooker, and they're gonna come by and find his DNA on the Coke bottle. It's like, I did it. I'm going to jail.
All right, I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Thank you so much. Remember, watch us on YouTube, especially YouTube. We're also live on Facebook, but we're trying to up our viewership on YouTube. So please subscribe, share, tell your friends, Also, grab Kevin's book, Playing with Fire. Watch Tanya on The Town with Tanya on her Facebook page on Thursdays and Sundays.
That's right.
Watch Preach in his church, swearing.
Don't you dare!
Hey, I'm about to drive back to New York right now after the show. So if I get pulled over, I'm going to comply. Okay.
Yeah, please. So if we hear that you were combative, we know it's bullshit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Remember, the goal is to keep Ben Crump off my doorstep.
Yeah. You don't want to be chatting Kevin Lee. We don't want to be chatting Kevin Lee. If the police kill me, please go out and riot. Yeah, I am requesting a riot if I get killed by the police. I don't want to hear Carl.
Oh, it'd be a riot too.
I don't want to hear Carl will not want this. I want you to riot if I get killed by the police.
That's right.
And I want you to break some windows, create some havoc.
Carl's gonna be pissed because he had to redo the show poster.
I
take Kevin Lee off the poster now. I'm going on protest.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone for watching the show. Like I said, go watch us on YouTube, share, subscribe.
Yes.
all that stuff. And we love you. We love everyone. Let me thank some people so I don't get reamed out. Charlene Ford, thank you so much. Glenn Carter, Michelle Henson, thank you. Norma Staley, Norma Grandma Staley, thank you so much. Michelle Henson, thank you for all your comments. Anthony Wilder, I'm not going to get everyone. Donna Haygood, and I said Anthony Wilder already. I think I got, okay, I can't get through everyone. And Holly said the PJs was a horrible show for Black people also. And the PJs, Eddie Murphy animation.
Animation, that was the PJs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. We
Well,
gotta
they
do
had a black kid on there, an overweight black kid with a sign around his neck saying "Do not
But I
feed."
always wondered, is it possible to be black and funny without being a little goofy or a little buffoonery? I mean, like, look at Jim Carrey. If Jim Carrey were black, he would be considered a buffoon, right?
Absolutely.
He's a buffoon hell. Brother Club. I gotta put him in the Brother Club.
Yeah, but imagine a black comedian doing what Jim Carrey does. They would, you know what I mean?
Or Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis. Right, Jerry Lewis.
As as he was.
Yeah, well, that's a form of white privilege, right? Because they don't cast them in buffoonery roles.
Yes.
Right. They get to play any different kind of roles, but that's why we need our own.
Well, exactly what Eddie Murphy did, the Nutty Professor, and he did it as overweight, and they're like, "Oh no, he can't do that." Oh, he got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah. All right, 5 Black Comics. We're out.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, a shout out to our brother Desi.
Oh yeah, Desi.
Desi celebrating his anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, I do some dancing because Desi would have danced, but we didn't play the music at the beginning. I said I was gonna dance to dance, but we didn't play it. So
shout out to Des and his wife, man.
Yes, and his wife. Yes.
All right, Des, we miss you. He's gonna be gone for the next 2 weeks, so Des is not gonna be here
2 weeks
next week either. Yeah, he's on vacation with his family, and it's also his anniversary. So his wife told him you can't do the show. So he
that's why he's still married, because he listens.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
All right, everybody.
It was Freddie, Sam, Corey, Eric, Philando, Ahmad, Steven, Kenneth, Amadou, Jonathan, Christian, Terrace, Sean. Killed him a day before his wedding. Jamar killed him while he was in handcuffs. Mike killed him while he had his hands up. Kamani, Ramali, Phillip, Alton. About 3 Kevins, about 2 Jordans. John, Laquan, Bathon, Stephon, Tony, Tamir, Elijah, Antoine, Isel, Terrell, Dontre, Akai, George. For him, set the country on fire. Timothy, Patrick, Paul, Tyree, Quintonio, Darius, Jeremy, William, Anthony, Dante, Oscar, Kendrick, Keith, David, Walter, women like Sandra, Betty, Rihanna, India, Michelle, Tatiana, Tanisha, Rika, Natasha, Pamela, Janet, Megan, baby Ayana. All that we lost, your name live on. Wasn't killed by a cop, but I can't forget Trayvon. Can't forget Emmett, and all of those we lost to the beast. No justice, no peace.
That song is so dope. Wow.